there! So this is my presentation for my finger play book assignment. This is the finger play book that I created out of a little index card. And so the first section, of course, is finger plays. And I have some glued down for my classmates. I also have ones written in there as well. And I also have the songs section of my book that has written songs as well. And finally, I have my poem section. And it has things in there as well. So a part of my assignment was to pick 2 finger plays and 2 songs to use in our video. And my first one is going to be 10 Little Leaves, which is better for probably 3 to 5-year-olds because there's that whole counting aspect of it. So you're going to start with your left and transition to your right, and we're going 3 leaves at a time. So it's going to be 1 little, 2 little, 3 little leaves, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little leaves, 7 little, 8 little, 9 little leaves, 10 leaves on my tree. And then for my second finger play, I chose to do 2 Little Houses. And I really like this one because you can use it with younger children. And so it starts off and you have to use both hands, and it's 2 little houses closed up tight, open the window and let in light. 10 little children, tall and straight, ready for school, 8:30. And for my songs, I chose Bear in the Mountain, which is another good one that you can use with younger children because there's not really that counting or anything that's a part of that. So the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain to see what he could see, to see what he could see. The other side of the mountain, the other side of the mountain was all he could see, was all he could see. And then I also chose Mary Had a Little Lamb because when teaching children literacy, it's important to use nursery rhymes that they remember because it helps them kind of learn how to read and write and all of that. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, school one day, school one day. It followed her to school one day, which was against the rules. It made all the children laugh and play, laugh and play, laugh and play. It made all the children laugh and play to see the lamb at school. And then one of the poems that I collected was called Hawaiian Rainbow. Butterflies holding hands across the sky, throwing kisses into our eyes. Hold them closed for just a while. Save those kisses. Don't say goodbye. And the 2 books that I chose to present to you today is one of my informational books, which is Jazz on a Saturday Night by Leo and Diane Dillon. And I chose this book because I think it's important for children to be exposed to all different kinds of musics. And sometimes when, like, if their family doesn't listen to jazz at home, they'll never know, you know? So. On stage, the musicians open their cases, set up their instruments, and take their places. Spotlights on, the announcer sweeps into sight. You're in for a session of magic tonight. Ladies and gents, what a jam this will be! An evening of jazz immortality. The audience hushes. They've worked all week long. It's their time to hear jazz. Now along comes a song. At first, notes surprise, then they sweeten and rise. Miles Davis on trumpet, sparks heat up at the skies. Toes tapping, hands clapping, now sway left to right. 'Cause you move to the music on Saturday night. Repeat on the best when Max Roach keeps the heat. On his drums, rhythms, thumbs, makes you jump in your seat. Jazz is mine, come along, won't be long, play my song. Fills my soul, makes me whole, jazz is mine, I belong. And see all the people in the audience enjoying the show. Charlie Parker on alto sax. Don't need a word. Notes fly through the sky on the wings of a bird. Take that tune, shake that moon. John Coltrane on his sax. His sax talks to Charlie's and Charlie's talks back. A river of melody sketched in the dim night. Catch the excitement on a Saturday night. Thelonious Monk and Bents on the keys does his own thing, not aiming to please. Distant chords now blended to be more genius joined in harmony. A guest with guitar, lighting fingers begin. He takes strings for a walk, strings can talk, and now he's in. Musicians smile with a meeting of eyes. A cool night, a cool note, they all improvise. On bass, Stanley Clarke, plucking sweet, mellow tunes. Feel the vibration deep down in your bones. Now Ella Fitzgerald sings beep bop doo wop. Still can't hold still. Get our fill, never will. Please don't stop. Let your heart go, let it soar like a kite. We explore and applause on our feet with delight. The curtain is closed, but we still hold the glow. Feel the beat in your feet. What a treat. Time to go. Come again. Tell us when. It was all out of sight. Jazz is so cool on a Saturday night. And then this book also has the musicians and some of the facts about their life at the end of the book, which I think is really cool. For my second book, I will be reading Iki, the Littlest OP by Tammy Yee. It's an Island Heritage books, and these books are honestly just beautiful. I remember them being shown to me a couple semesters ago, and I was just in love because they're so sweet. Once upon a time, a crowd of seashells lived on a rocky shore in Hawaii. Twice a day, the snails would creep along the ocean's edge, following the push and the pull of the tides. Round Piipi and speckled Po'okolea dotted the surf-swept shore. Bravest of all were the Opii, clinging tightly to the rocks. They could withstand the mightiest waves. "Stick to it!" they shouted as they hurtled in the surf. "Stick to it!" they cried as waves crashed around them. "Stick to it!" Iki was the littlest Opii of all. He was small and squat with a teeny-weeny shell that carried like a shield on his back. Iki spent many days and nights as a larva drifting merrily in the ocean. He floated far and wide with not a worry in the world. Soon it was time for Iki to find a rock and settle down. "Settle down," said the other Opii as they found homes on the rocks. "Settle down," they cried from the shore. "Settle down!" But Iki wouldn't settle down. He wanted to see the world. He drifted away, far and wide. In time, the ocean current carried Iki to the coral reef. Sea fans towered above him, swaying in the tide. Anemones bloomed like daisies in fields of sea lettuce. Schools of fish swam by. "My world!" Iki shouted. Now he was ready to settle down with his friends on the rocky shore. Above, a shark gnashed his teeth as he swam by, but Iki wasn't worried. He was too tiny for a shark to see. So onward he crawled at a snail's pace. Ahead, tentacles thrashed as Hi'i wrestled cowardly into her den, but Iki wasn't worried. He was too tired for a Hi'i to eat. Still, he crawled a little faster toward the shore. On a sandy ridge, a crab waved his claws. 2 anemones, like palm trees, were planted on his back. But Iki wasn't worried. He was too tiny for a crab to notice. Wasn't he? The crab grabbed Iki. "Stick to it," Iki said as he hunkered beneath his shell. "Stick to it," he grumbled as he dug his foot into the sand. "Stick to it." But there was nothing for him to stick to. "You're a funny-looking anemone," said the crab. He plucked Iki from the sand and stuck him on his back. Iki looked up, a big anemone on the right, a big anemone on the left, and little Iki in the middle on the back of a lumbering crab. Iki spread his foot and held on for dear life. The anemone smiled down at him. Look, a new neighbor. Let's hope he doesn't grow too big or eat too much. I'm looking for my friends on the rocky shore. Have you seen them? Asked Iki. No, but that's where we're going to. So stick to it and enjoy the ride. On the crab's back, no shark would bother him. No Hi'i would eat him. And crabs, he had a crab of his very own. And what a messy eater he was. Iki and the anemones had plenty to eat. The anemones were very kind. They too had seen the world, and they had many fine stories to share. When they reached the rocky shore, Iki lifted his foot and tumbled off of the crab's back. Goodbye, he waved to the anemones. Iki found a spot among the other Opii and settled down beneath the pounding surf. Twice a day, he and his friends followed the ebb and the flow of the tide. Sometimes other Opii whispered among themselves, "He's a wanderer. He'll never stick to it." Iki ignored them. One day, an Opii picker visited Iki's rock. He used a sharp knife to pry the seashells from the rock, then placed them in a bag. The picker held tight as waves crashed around them. The picker came to Iki and worked his knife under the Opii shell. Iki gripped the rock and held tight. Stick to it, Iki told himself. A wave smashed into the Opii picker, knocking him from the rocks. He clung onto his knife, which was still under Iki's shell. Stick to it, Iki shouted as the wave tried to pull the picker out to sea. Stick to it. The wave roared by. Iki let go of the rock and tumbled into the surf. The Opii picker was safe, and together they washed up on the sandy beach. This is it, thought Iki. The picker held Iki in his hand. Iki's shell was chipped from the picker's knife. But instead of putting Iki in his bag, the picker placed the little Opii on the rock, then opened his bag and released all of Iki's friends. You saved my life, said the picker. You must be my guardian, my Aumakua. From that day on, Iki was loved by all the seashells and was quite famous. Every larva in the ocean knew the story of Iki, the stickiest little Opii with the chipped shell. Iki stuck to it, and what a ride it was. Yeah, so those are two of the books that I chose. I really enjoyed doing this project because it gave me an opportunity to look at different children's books in a really in-depth way, and I haven't really done that before. So overall, I'm really happy with how my project came out. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you all are staying safe and stay home and wear masks. Thank you so much. Have a great day.